Hello, welcome to Watan Karama News Channel. It is 9 p.m. our time for top stories, and we start with the latest developments in Libya. The parliament rejected the government calling for returning back to the text of previous draft signed with initials Ratiya. This comes after parliament suspended the meeting after the withdrawal of two-thirds of the whole, but Ghalian parliament member Suleiman Omar Mohammed says that the meeting returned again with a full quorum that is attended by about 125 members and chaired by parliament speaker Saleh Gueder, while first deputy chairman of parliament Mohammed Shoaib was absent. Tarhuna parliament member Muhammad Al-Abbani called on his colleagues in parliament to exercise self-denial, maintain the interest of the country to be over all personal interests, and refuse leaving government, saying that he is not a guardian. During his speech, Al-Abbani called on parliament's member to reject guardianship and hegemony and work to find a perfect replacement for Leon and his draft, playing down the possibility of the withdrawal of international recognition of parliament after October 20. The National Commission for Human Rights condemned the escalation of crimes and violations of the terrorist Daesh group in Derna and certain cities. The committee blamed the international community, the General Assembly of the United Nations, and the Arab League for the crimes committed by terrorist groups in Libya as a result of the failure of international community to support the Libyan authorities in order to root out armed terrorist groups and put an end to crimes and violations of terrorist groups in Libya that also target civilians. General Secretary of Arab League held a talk work session on Peace and Security Council, international and regional trade organizations in the field of peace and security, with the participation of the number of experts and representatives of Arab states. The meeting stressed the presence of external interference in the affairs of a number of Arab countries, such as Libya, Syria, and Iraq, stressing that the aim of the meeting is to identify the regional and international organizations' experiences in the area of peace and security. Arab region has an experience that has not been completed or is still in stage of preparations and documentations regarding peace and security. Representatives of 40 countries, United Nations, agencies and international bodies pledged to support the new Libyan government in the presence of a number of Libyans' independent experts during a meeting held in London under the auspices of the UN or United Kingdom's UN support mission of Libya. The meeting discussed the most effective ways to support the new Libyan National Unity Government. For his part, the British Minister for the Middle East and North Africa, TBS Elwood, called for accelerating the formation of Libyan government to receive international support. Moreover, he noted that the London meeting reflects the depth of international commitment to hold the new government. An armed forces element was martyred and 22 others wounded during 4 days of fighting in Benghazi city. A medical source at Al-Gala Hospital said that during the past days, the hospital received 22 injured people from Sabri and Bouatni and the Western District, including 5 cases received first aid and left immediately. 5 cases were also transferred to Benghazi Medical Center. And still in Libya, citizen Al-Shalawi was killed after he was shot dead in Derna city. A source in Derna city said Al-Shalawi was killed after he was targeted with bullets inside while he was in his car by terrorist Daesh group near the entrance of Al-Arba'mi'a neighborhood in the East Coast area in Derna. The entrance of Al-Arba'mi'a neighborhood in the East Coast area in Derna witnessed violent clashes between terrorist Daesh group and other terrorist groups. And now we transfer to elections in Egypt. Egyptian Prime Minister Sharif Ismail said today that the turnout during the previous day's parliamentary election was just 15 and 16%, but should rise now after public sector workers were given off day off to vote. Sunday and Monday's voting levels were extremely low. Younger Egyptians who comprise a majority of population stayed away. Egypt has no parliament since June 2012. Egypt's elections are now taking place over 2 rounds on October 18 and 19 and now November 22-23. This week, voters cast their ballots in 14 regions, including Egypt's second city of Alexandria on the Mediterranean coast. UN-sponsored talks to end month of fighting in Yemen will convene in Geneva on the end of October. The UN Special Envoy for the issue has announced urging the parties to try to make the negotiations a success. A previous round of UN-sponsored talks between the Yemeni government and the Houthis failed in June, mainly due to differences over the implementation of a UN Security Council resolution calling for Iran-backed group to withdraw from cities they seized over the past year. The UN Special Envoy to Yemen, Ismail Sheikh Ahmed, wrote on his Facebook page that after talks with President Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi in Saudi Arabia, he had managed to persuade all the parties to attend a new round of talks in Geneva at the end of this month. The Saudi Foreign Ministry commended Hadi's stand on the talks and welcomed the Houthi decision to honor UN Security Council Resolution number 2216. The Yemeni government said it had agreed to attend UN-sponsored talks after the Houthis formally committed to implementing UN Security Council Resolution number 2216. Israel set up roadblocks in Palestinian neighborhoods in East Jerusalem and deployed soldiers across the country today in an effort to stop a wave of Palestinian knife attacks. In the latest incidents in the city, a Palestinian who attempted a knife attack was killed and another was seriously injured, Israeli authorities said. One Israeli border policewoman was slightly injured. Last week, a Palestinian stabbed and wounded a 70-year-old woman outside Jerusalem Central bus station at the entrance of the city before an officer shot him dead, a police spokesman said. The almost 3 weeks of violence has killed 41 Palestinians, including demonstrators at anti-Israeli protests. In the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Essawiya, Palestinian residents passed through heavily guarded roadblocks and cars were checked by Israeli soldiers. In the West Bank city of Ramallah, Hanan Ashrawi, member of the executive committee in the Palestine Liberation Organization PLO, says the security measures were part of the persuasive cruelty of the Israeli occupation. My audience, this is my final item for today. That is also my wrap-up of our top stories. For much more, you can check our website www.watankarama.tv. Thanks very much for being with us. My greeting, Rania البليدى.